Hey everyone, welcome to the HR Happy Hour Friday work break. I'm Steve Bose. Madeline Lorano is with me today. Madeline, so good to see you, especially on a Friday. What, man, I don't know why or how or what conspired. This has been just an awful week. I'm so glad it's Friday. I'm so glad it's happy hour. And we had a special kind of thing for the happy hour show today. Why don't you sort of start off and do your reveal?
So it's been like the worst week. I don't know exactly, like I can't pinpoint one thing. It's just been one of those weeks. But I am very happy it's 5 o'clock.
That's right.
And I have, can you see it? Okay.
Oh, look at that. So wow.
I was actually hoping I had lemonade in the house, but I didn't. So this is vodka, a little club soda that's a little bit flat, but some blueberries and watermelon and some basil
and some awesome right there. Is that awesome. Like a mason jar cocktail as well?
Yeah, that's what I was like. I was going for the presentation here. So
you win. That is awesome. Well, let's say a quick cheers. I also made a cocktail for the show today. I went with a kind of a classic and an homage a little bit to Trish, of course, who's not here today. She's been on vacation, but this is the Negroni. And the best thing about this cocktail is, other than it tastes great, is it's incredibly simple to make. It's like in sort of bartender vernacular, this is a 1-1-1 drink. It's got 3 ingredients plus a garnish, but you make it in equal portion. So depending on how much Negroni you want, it's just the same amount of each ingredient. It's got dry gin. I used aviation gin from the internet's favorite boyfriend, Ryan Reynolds. Dry gin, Campari, and sweet vermouth in equal proportions, garnished with a little orange peel, and you're all set. So let's do cheers. Cheers to you. Cheers to all. Thank God.
I feel like this is going to go down way too quickly for me today. I feel like the 3 ingredient drinks are the best, and they're like, if I had more time, I was going to do this watermelon frosé, which is just ice, watermelon, rosé, and there's a little lemon.
Yeah, when we did the show together, I think we did it on Wednesday, right? We said we planned for this. Let's do a Friday cocktail hour show and make a cocktail. I did the typical, Googled summer cocktail thing, and there were so many interesting choices, but there's a lot of frozen things, a lot of things that required blending. I don't own a blender, so I had to kind of. But one of the funny thing about the drink, and then we can kind of just continue to drink and move on. But so I couldn't find my cocktail shaker, right? So it's just ice, these 3 ingredients in equal proportions, shake it up, pour it, strain it, pour it over ice, and you're done. I couldn't find a cocktail shaker anywhere. I know I own one. I don't know where it went. So I reached into the cupboard and I found this from this big old kind of Yeti cup from our friends at Ultimate Software, which I think they gave us at the last event, which I think we talked about in the last show. So I hope they're proud that I'm making good use of their swag. That was my cocktail shaker to make the Negroni today.
I love it. The Alti Peeps. I feel like they're so great with events. I mean, it's probably one of the companies in our industry with events, but I do feel like I have seen an Ultimate Software cocktail shaker at some
like a proper cocktail shaker.
I do. I feel like we're gonna have to ask them about that. I think they might have that.
Yeah, well, maybe if they see this show, they'll send me one because I need it because I couldn't find the cocktail shaker, and it's always weird when you can't find something, like especially when you think like I live alone, no one's been in this house in a long time. Like, where did it go? Like, so.
And you're so organized, so.
Oh, I know. I'm just on top of everything. Don't ask anybody who's like waiting for an email from me from 2017 about how organized I am.
Same here.
Yeah. So you had a funny story you wanted to share.
So I do have a funny story. So this happened yesterday. I actually tweeted this out, but it just feels like it's out of a movie to me. So we talked a little bit about return to school. Mm-hmm. With some of the research, we talked about Patrick going back to BU and my kids kind of going back to school. So this is like the big thing that everyone's thinking about right now. Anyone that has kids, they're wondering what's going to happen in the fall. Yeah. And we don't really know in Massachusetts, like some of the towns have already decided what their plan is. But as a state, I think we're a little bit hesitant on making that decision. In our town, the superintendent has been doing these regular calls to update everyone. And he sent one out for yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
update everyone on this return to school. So everybody's waiting. Everyone thinks it's going to be the big announcement. He does, and the tree falls on his house, knocks out the electricity.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, it's sort of this it's like this omen where we're announcing return to school and all of a sudden electricity's in the house and we have no idea.
That's not a good omen. I hope he's all right. Do we know anything? Okay.
Yeah, he was like a real trooper. Like he continued to do the call even though this is going on.
Oh my God, that's summertime, right? And so I'm in North Carolina here, but I don't know if it's global warming, although perhaps I was misinformed. I'm not been here that long, and so it's almost like Florida here. Like every day at 3 o'clock or so, or 3 or 4 o'clock, the skies open up, thunderstorms like crazy, hail flies out of the sky every single day. Happens every afternoon. It's about to start happening now. It's a little bit later today. It's so hot, but it's awesome, and I love it. I had one other story that was interesting. I was dealing with some password issues today. I don't know how many services you use to kind of get your work done and to get manage your personal life. There's so many passwords. It's endless. And I know people say, oh, there are password managers out there. And I've never used one of those apps to manage passwords because I'm worried about what if I forget the password to my password manager, or what if someone cracks that password, I'm really screwed. So I've never done any of that. So I'm just doing my own passwords for everything. And I remember a couple of years ago, I was working in a corporate job. It was a number of years ago now. I won't say what company it was with, but I was having issues with the laptop, that I had at the time. And that initial password, if you have a Windows laptop, there's usually, before it even will kind of boot up anything, you've got to put that first password in. So the IT guy, needed my password. And there's been kind of stories of embarrassing corporate passwords over the years, oh, my boss is a jerk, or 123, or my job really stinks. I didn't have that kind of password, but I had an embarrassing password of another type. And so I had to tell this guy my password. I had to read it out to him. I'm thinking, how do I break up the password so maybe he won't figure out what it really says? So I'm thinking, so he's like, what's your password? And I'm like, okay, it's ST EVEI SGR EA T12. That's it. And so, all right, let me read that back to you. And he goes, ST. Your password is Steve is great 12. That's your password. I'm like, yes. I was really. I'm like, okay. But I thought at the time maybe I was great. But it's funny. Then I'm thinking about how can I apply that someone else? How can I kind of reverse the heat on that? So the next time someone asks me for a phone number. You have to give your phone number to someone. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, my phone number is 20-734-281-39. I'm going to give it in a completely different way you're expecting it. And you'll blow people away by that. So,
yeah. Oh, that's amazing. So he called you out. He called you out.
I'm sure did, because he was writing it down. I wasn't in front of him. He was remote somewhere, and just tried to help me out. But
I always think it's a special skill set that they have where they can, because I've had some embarrassing ones, like mine in college, and I can say this because, I don't have this password anymore, but I loved Harry Connick Jr. So I loved
who doesn't? Come on.
So I had my password with some variation on Harry Connick Jr. and, having to give this, to IT or anytime I had an email issue, in college or right after, having to say this, I always felt like this was such a unique skill set that IT had where they could just calmly listen, nod, and down this embarrassing, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this wacko. But you got called out, so I don't know.
Yeah, I did. And that's fine. And in fact, I've got that old laptop I still actually own. The company just let me keep it. And I've got the password now taped to it on a sticky note. And it's a variation of the Steve is great, but it's still it's a variation of how I'm wonderful still. I've kept it all these years because I'm fantastic.
As everyone listening is trying to now log into all of your.
I know. Oh my God, I'm probably gonna get cracked. It doesn't matter. I'm up to nothing. I don't care. I've been one of those people over the years, maybe naively, that Google can know where I'm at. I don't care. It's fine. They're gonna figure it out anyway. And so I kind of like that. When Google says, hey, you know what? There's a little bit of extra traffic. I know you're about to get on a flight, or when we used to fly. You have a flight in 3 hours, but the traffic's really bad. You might want to leave now, kind of stuff. I like when Google can do that for me. Yeah. I have one other really piece of exciting news, at least exciting in my world, Madeline. my second delivery of ButcherBox arrived today. Do you know ButcherBox, Madeline? I talked about it on the show with Trish when the first order came, but so ButcherBox is kind of like a mail order, basically meat delivery service.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if it happened where you live, Madeline, but like down here for sure, there was a little bit of time in April, maybe late April, early May timeframe where, like, in addition to not being able to buy toilet paper or paper towels, like the meat counter was pretty dire, right? There was no chicken, depending on what day you went, et cetera. So ButcherBox is kind of a meat delivery service. Every 6 weeks or so, you get a delivery full of meat products and you get to pick what you want. And so I signed up for it mainly because hey, I was worried about my supply of meat. I'm a barbecue guy, a grill guy, et cetera. And so it's awesome. And I love it. High endorsement for it. And the second box came today and I was out, I'd had to supplement my meat in the last couple of weeks with the supermarket meat, which is, come on, like the savages here. So I'm super excited. Like it's made my whole day. It's going to make my whole weekend to be out there grilling. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome. That's very cool.
You cook, Madeline? I've never talked to you about this. Do you like to cook? And tell me what you like to cook.
I love to cook. Yeah, so I love to cook. So I actually, it's interesting because when, quarantine happened and we we're kind of going through all this, Jason Warner, I don't know if you know him, but he used to be the head of TA at Starbucks, and Google started a cooking club online. And so every Wednesday we do an Italian, somebody hosts a different week, and then we all cook together. And it's
actually lovely.
So yeah, I love to cook. I don't grill skills though. I'm not good with grilling.
Yeah, it's something I latched on to years ago when I had I had a lot of time on my hands. I used to have a huge plot of land back in the day. It's another whole long awful story no one cares about. But I had a big proper barbecue smoker. And I would just go out there in the morning and start early and just smoke all day long while in between cutting the grass and chopping down trees and all the nonsense I was doing at this place. But so I'm not quite doing that anymore, but love grilling, love cooking, and I'm super excited about that. And thanks to the good folks at ButcherBox who not sponsor, sadly. I'm paying full price for the meat, so maybe we can get them on board. All right, we're close to out of there. Madeline, what's exciting for you this weekend? Anything fun coming up?
Oh, we're going to get your weather this weekend. We're getting like the 95-degree weather this weekend. And I don't know. We'll see. There's like a little pond here. I might take the kids there, go swimming. I'm not going to complain. I mean, I hate the winter so much.
Me too.
That you're not going to hear anything from me about complaining about the humidity.
I will never complain about the heat and humidity. I sought it out. I got out of Western New York just to avoid it. So I will never complain about it. I love it. So, all right, Madeline, this has been awesome. We need to kind of make this, I think, a Friday regular thing. This is so much fun. Let me say cheers one more time to you.
Cheers. Let me see if I can get this right. I'm like awkward.
I know, it's so weird to do this. Cheers. You have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you very soon. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. We had a fun week on the HR Happy Hour Work Break. Did you see the branding? Can you see the branding in the upper right-hand corner? I got that branding worked out. Hopefully that's cool. Hopefully people can see that. So anyway, thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll be back on Monday. Super fun. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Be good, and just have a great HR Happy Hour, everyone.
Thanks, Steve. Everyone made it. It's Friday. Have a good one.